I really want to start out with episode 1. That being the Kwan storyline and the introduction to Kwan and Chief. I felt like while watching this whole TV show, we were in this state of watching two different sci-fi TV shows at once.
Oh, without a doubt.
Focus on one. Focus on one storyline. What are we doing, man? I really don't care about anything that doesn't have to do with Master Chief. I don't care about somebody trying to go and find themselves. I don't care about a border skirmish turning into a giant journey. I want to see Master Chief just like all of the other Halo community members do. They want to see Master Chief kick some ass and take some names and go on an awesome journey. We don't need to hear about anybody else. I don't care about Kwan.
I want to say, I mean, not only did they do such a poor job linking the two stories together, it was so disjointed, but the Kwan segment on its own was just really poorly done, not engaging at all. And yeah, I was really confused anytime that we went to go revisit it. And it just left me with nothing when we finished up with the scene. Yeah. And we just totally disjointed. And I just, as soon as one of those segments popped up, I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah. See, Colin, you and I, we binged this in like a 9-hour plus session. Yeah, we finished all of season 1 and got to episode 2 of season 2. I'm caught up on episode 3. I think you guys are still catching up to that.
That's gotta be.
Just for everybody that's watching, I would hope that you give props to these two guys. I would have died. I would have jumped out of my sliding glass window. I would have found a way to myself on that block of pavement outside of my apartment. I would have found some way. I don't know how anybody can even get through 2 episodes of this series, let alone the entire season. And yes, it is a slugfest of just mediocre crap.
I would very much say that really sums up this whole thing. Halo Season 1 follows 2 different character timelines, and that's the Master Chief timeline and the Kwan timeline. At least that's what I'm going to call it. Kwan seems to be an entirely separate sci-fi show running on the side, and all I could really recall while watching it was like, oh, we're watching her again. I don't care for Kwan's story. I feel sorry for the actress in a weird sense, because like the acting team, the VFX teams, they did really well on this show, and they really botched it in the writing segment. Like the writing room must have been on some kind of tripping LSD amphetamines, or I can't describe to you just like what her journey was, and it was a drag. The story just seemed to have it took Kwan and it went from all the way from A to Z. The only payoff being her family is a protector of the portal to find the Halo rings.
Which means absolutely nothing, because the Forerunners were that, even though they were long dead, their sentries were still on duty in the first Halo game, in Combat Evolved. When he first encounters like all of the new stuff on the Halo ring, when he goes and finds the Oracle, that's all Forerunner technology. And you're asking, oh, well, we need to have another gatekeeper. No, we don't. Everything that was in your story was self-contained. You didn't have to add anything to it.
So if you guys don't recall, like Halo Combat Evolved, the first game, picked up as finding the Halo ring was a complete and utter accident. Yeah. It was a slip space malfunction. But how are you feeling about the Kwan storyline, Colin?
I honestly, anytime that we got dragged into that storyline, I just wanted to end. Something that I just kind of had on my mind was like, if we're following kind of the Spartan storyline, like, and we like plot out points that they hit within their whole oh my god, their storyline, all the little different nooks and crannies and paths that they went. Let's say they hit like A through Z. When it came to Kwan's storyline, it felt like she went from like A to B. Like that's how much little content was actually contained. Nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened.
there was no payoff for Kwan's character. And if you ask me, if I was to stay within the parameters of what you guys wanted this TV show to encapsulate, I would have replaced Kwan entirely and have told the story from the Arbiter's perspective during the war before the fall of Reach. I feel like getting the Covenant perspective would have been a better use of screen time than what they put out here. I get that Halo is starting to become a human story, but in this case scenario, it doesn't work. The Master Chief story is an entirely different animal altogether. Yes. We're going to start out with the episode 1 sequence. Yeah, it looks like you already have a lot to say.
That's where we split off and we take the 2 separate shows and run them side by side that have nothing to do with each other, and that's just a horrible decision.
Yeah, not related whatsoever, and they never collide toward the end of the season. It's just there.
There's no glue holding them together. So you go through this entire series, this 9-episode series of them being together for maybe an episode's worth of time, and then the rest of it is just bouncing back between these 2 stories. And I'm going to say it outright, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think Master Chief got side-bitched in his own series. Like, he became a side character. Because they wanted to focus so much on the human connection. This is going to be like the Transformers animated series where it's like we got the little human sidekick along with it. It's like, no, stop. You have an integral character. Just make a good story around it.
I cannot watch Kwan. I cannot do it. What a botched opportunity of screen time. It should have been Thel Vadamin and the Arbiter and the perspective from the Covenant. I'm going to preach this to the moon. I don't care how many times I repeat myself on this. It's
storyline.
What, Kwan?
No, not that. Nah, dude. The story of the Arbiter and the constant. If you want to know how to do 2 storylines at the same time, Halo 2. Halo 2 does it masterfully.
So, this is something I need to preach right now. Halo 2 is probably the best dialogue written Halo game in the entire series. Not in terms of gameplay, but I can watch those cutscenes forever. For me, it's like watching House MD. Yes. I was mentioning this in the car, where it's like the act of conversation is an art. That's what Halo 2 kind of felt like for me, especially in terms of the Covenant.
Especially in terms of the Covenant, I like to this day remember being impressed with how much depth they put into God.
I remember like almost all the opening lines from the second game.
I was gonna say, just like on the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to uphold the covenant, even to our dying breath. And it's like, and then he pulls the Arbiter aside, and he's like, "But these are my elites. You're like, their lives matter to me. Yours does not." And I was like,
I would say that makes 2 of us. Like that's the kind of writing that you can remember. And the show, for a TV show, for portraying Halo, boy, I don't remember a single line of this thing. I don't. Okay, so episode 5, where they're exploring more of the relics. Kwan is abandoned by the Spartan. She's tied to a bike. More sci-fi that I don't need.
Oh, can I?
Not the good kind.
Can I say?
It takes 18 minutes to get to the good parts.
I was gonna say one of the best scenes in this episode is when Kwan, they go back to her when she's already tied up, and she's going. Like trying to get out of the restraints, and it's just like, and it's just like, what are you doing? Sounded like a feral macaw trying to like charge my spirit energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's so bad. And then the crazy because, you know, powerful. Am I right? Powerful and independent. She breaks chain link restraints that's tied to a motorcycle off of just pure screaming.
The motorcycle broke.
Oh, the motorcycle broke? Oh no.
No, so she broke like a fender fairing, I guess you would basically call it. almost like, or kind of like she broke off like quarter-inch gauge steel fender fairing, just broke it in half with the rocks that were crumbling in her hands.
Yeah, and it's I'm not a geologist. I guess this geology study of rocks, right? Or ancient. Okay, look, I'm not going to talk about subjects that I don't know, right? But I'm pretty sure rocks like that are not going to be strong enough to break that level of aluminum or steel. No way in hell.